Welcome to project 83 of this course. So in this video we are going to be creating a Twitter follow button by just using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So here you can see we have this like who to follow, we have the person name, his handle and his name. Okay, so if I just click on this unfollow, so it will now just unfollow it. If you just click on the follow, so it will now follow it. Okay, so we have this first functionality. The second functionality we have is that we can also change the theme to like dark. So here you can see it will now give us like a dark theme right here, and here you can also see the text is changed to light right here. And if we just click on the light, it will now change the background color to white, and it will change the theme to the dark. And if you just click on it one more time, we have a dark theme and light theme. So this is what we are going to be building by just using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So without wasting any further time, now let's jump right into our coder and write our code. So let's just create a folder in here, and now let's just give a name of like 83 of then Twitter follow component. Component. Come on, I misspelled it. So instead of writing that, let me just write like component. And so let me just close that. Inside this folder we are going to be creating three files. So index.html, and then let's just create our style.css and also our app.js for JavaScript. So now let me just make that a bit bigger so that we can just focus on our code. Interested in seeing API using example, try out, or no thank you, I really appreciate that. Anyway, so now let's just write our doc type HTML and change this title to be like Twitter follow button. Now let's just link it with our CSS and also with our JavaScript. So now let's just hide our metadata from there and right click on it and open it with live server. So now we are totally live. Now let's just close that one, and now let's just write our button first of all. So I'm going to just write button with the class of themer, and now inside this themer class we are going to inside this themer button we are going to be given a label of dark. So now let me just create a div with a class of card. And now inside this card div, we are going to be creating our HTML. So h1 with the class of card title. And now let me just give them like who to follow. Okay. And now let's just write a span in here. And now I'm going to give a class of divider. And underneath this span, we are going to be writing our profile. So we've got our div with the class of profile. Inside this profile, we are going to be writing our profile pic and also image one. Okay, so that's that. And now let's underneath that we are going to be writing our profile info. Inside this info we are going to be writing our span of display and name. And now let's just give a name of like Albert. And now underneath that we are going to be writing our next span with the class of username. Okay, so now let me just write that tag. Underneath this div we are going to be writing our button with the class of follow button. I'm going to write a totally button and followed, and here as a label we are going to be writing unfollow. Okay, so now let's just save that. The next thing which we have to do is that we have to get this divider and also these buttons. So now let's just duplicate that like 2 times 1 and 2, and now let's just change this one to like I'm going to change this one to like by the way, these are the name which I copy from the Unsplash. So we are going to be placing these guys images as well, so that's why I just take their usernames and also their handles as well. So now let's just change this one to image 2, and now instead of unfollow let's just write out follow, and now remove that unfollow from there. And so that's that. And now let's change this one to image 3 and change this username to this one. Let me just copy that really quickly. Copy it, and I'm going to paste it right here, and also this tag as well, and also follow. And now let's just remove this folder from there. And underneath this div we are going to be writing our anchor tag which will go to nowhere, and we are going to be given a class of like show class of show more. Okay, and now let's just write like show more. Save our file, and this is how everything looks like. So now the next thing which you have to do is that we have to jump into our style sheet, and now let's just style that. So I'll just first of all declare a few variable like light bg for background, and it will be totally white. Then light primary, and it will be set to like RGB of like 247 and also 249 and also 250. Okay, so now let me just close that. Now let's just write a light secondary, and it will be now set to RGB of 240 comma 242 and also 243. Now let's just write our light and then divider and RGB and change this one to 235 and comma 237 comma. Now let me just write dark BG, and dark BG will be set to black, and also dark primary will be set to like 151 at 1C. This is going to be the background color. I mean like the primary. Then dark secondary 2F333 and 6. I'm gonna also use the same color for the divider, dark divider. And finally, let's just write our crimson color. So highlight color will be now set to like E0245E. Okay, so this that color, and now we are totally done with the variables. So now let's just write our recess of box sizing will be border box, get our HTML and also our body. And now let's just remove their margin, and height will be like 100% and width will be also 100%. Okay, so now let's just get our HTML, and inside this HTML everything will be table. The display will be table. Okay, and now let's just, here we are going to be writing like font family of sans serif, and underneath that let's just get our body, and body background color will, and it will be now equals to var background color, and we are going to be selecting that color just in a second. So then write a display of table and then cell. Okay, so display will be table cell, and vertical align will be just set to middle. Okay, and now width will be totally 100%. So that's that. So now if you just save our file and let's see, so this is how it looks like for now. And now the next thing which you have to do is to get our H1, and font size will be like 1.3 M, and also font weight we would have is like 907, and this is how it looks like. Anyways, so underneath that, now let's just create our own variables. So light theme will be now equals to these variables. So we are going to be using that background color, and now let's just use like light BG, this color right here. So I'm going to remove this var from there, and now let's just close it in here. All right, so that's that. Now the next thing which you have to do is to get our primary BG and set that like var and then light primary. Okay, so close this one as well. And now the next thing which you have to do is to just get our secondary BG, and now let's just change that to like light secondary, this color right here. Remove that var from there, and that's that. And now let's just finally choose a color for divider, and it will be now equals to like a var of light divider. Okay, so let me just remove these vars from there. So now save it, everything will work. So this is about the light theme. Now let's just duplicate that to like a dark theme, and I'm gonna change this one to like dark in here. And also let me just write like instead of light BG, I'm gonna change this one to like dark BG, and instead of this light, so I'm gonna just change this one to dark as well, and this one to dark as well, and finally to dark. Alright, so now we are good to go. And also let me just write a color of white, and it will be important. Okay, so that's them. Alright, so now let's just style our card first of all. So we are going to be using our card background color will be now equals to var and then primary primary BG. And now let's just write height of auto, and also the width will be like 360 pixel. Alright, so now let's just write a margin of 0 and auto, and border radius will be now equals to 24 pixels. So if we save it, and now we cannot see that for now, but we will see that just in a second. The next thing which you have to do is to get our card title, which is this card title right here. So now let's just style that. So we are going to be just providing a margin of 0, and then padding will be like 20 pixel, 15 pixel, and 20 pixels. And now let's just get our divider. Okay, so now let me just write a divider of display of block, and also the width will be 100%, and a border top, I'm gonna give them like 1 pixel solid var of that secondary color, secondary BG. Okay, it's for background, and we can also see that because it will be like a kind of a lighter one. So if you just click on it, so here you can see this is that kind of white color right here. So that's why you cannot see that clearly. So now let me just select my profile, and we are going to be giving a width of like 100%, and min width will be also 100%. Duplicate that. Max width will be also 100%. Padding will be just 10 pixel. Top and bottom, left and right will be 20 pixel. Display will be flex, and also flex wrap will be no wrap, and align items will be center. Align content will be just stretch, not space between, but align content will be stretch. Okay, and justify items, justify content will be space between, and justify items will be just stretch as well, not straw but stretch. Okay, so that's that. And if you save that, so this is how it looks like for now. So now the next thing which you have to do is that we want to provide a hover effect on the profile. And so now let me just provide a hover effect on profile, and also on a show more button, more and hover. So the show more is right here. Okay, so you want to use like background color, and it will be now set to like wall of secondary color, secondary BG. So that's that. Now the next thing which you have to do is that we have to style or pick like a profile pic. So profile, and we have a pic right here. Display will be totally block, and height will be 50 pixel. Duplicate that, and width will be also 50 pixel. And border radius, we are going to be using like 50% because we want them to be like perfectly rounded. And background position will be at the top, and background size will be totally covered. Okay, so save that. We still cannot see that because we don't have any images whatsoever. So now let's just get our image one, and background image will be now set to like URL. And now let's just get those images. So I've already have images, so if you want to get like some random people images, so you can just go to Unsplash and get images from there and paste it right here inside this URL. All right, so now I'm gonna select my first image right here, copy it and paste right here. If you have your own images, so feel free to use that. Now I'm going to duplicate this twice and change this one to like image 2, and now let's just get the link of this image 2. So I'm going to paste it right here. Okay, so this is image 2, and then we have an image 3. Okay, so now let me just get this link right away, copy it, and I'm going to paste it right here. So once we save that, and now we would see our images right here. All right, so now we have all of these images right away. So that's looking cool. I'm gonna cut this one for now because we don't need it right now. Now the next thing that you have to do is to get our profile info. So let me just write a padding of like 0 pixel. Left and right will be 10 pixel. Flex grow, we are going to be just passing 1. Save it, and this is how perfectly center. Okay, so that's that. Now the next thing that you have to do is to get our display name, and also let's just get our username. Okay, and now let's put our display of block. Okay, so now if you just save that, and this is how it looks like for now. Now let's just style our username. We are going to be just increasing the font weight of it. So we have display name, and then font weight will be just equal to like 700 will be fine, and I'm going to remove that P, and this is how it looks like right now. Okay, next thing which you have to do is to provide our username. So username will be now equals to like a color will be RGB 155 and 153 and also 153. Save it, and this is how it looks like. I mean like this username, how this is look like. And now let's just provide a username, and before, because we want to provide that add symbol in here, so here you can see we have this add symbol right now. Now the next thing that you have to do is to select our follow button. So follow button we have. Now let's just change the background color, and now let's just use inherit. So we'll now inherit that above one. So you have border of 1 pixel, solid, var, and then highlight color, and that's that. Now let's just give them a border radius of like 16 pixel. I'm gonna use 16 pixel, and I'm gonna also write a color of like highlight color. Okay, and also the padding will be 6 pixel and 16 pixel. Okay, 6 pixel for top and bottom, and 16 for left and right. Outline will be none. Font weight will be 900. Let me just write 900 pixels. So 7. All right, so this is how it looks like. Now the next thing that you have to do, that we also want to style this followed. So we want to get our followed button, and now let's just style that. So you want to change the background color of it to like var, and that highlight color, and also the color will be totally white. Okay, so white, save it, and this is how it looks like. And now let's just format or this show more button right here. So we are going to be using like show more, and now let's just write a border bottom bottom left radius, and it will be now set to like inherit. So now let's just duplicate that, and then we need our right one, so right radius. And now let's just write a display of totally block, and a padding will be just 15 pixel, 20 pixel, 20 pixel, and 20 pixel. All right, and now let's just remove that text decoration of none, and also provide a color of highlight. So highlight color. So now if we save that, and this is how it looks like for now. And now we are getting there, but we still have a lot of CSS to write. So now let's just work on our show more and focus there. So if you focus, so then you want to just provide like a webkit tab. So if you tap a highlight color, so you want to just use like transparent for now. So not that one, transparent. All right, so that's that. So if you just active there, and then it's gonna happen for now. Alright, so now we are done with this UI, but the final thing which you have to do is to style this dark themer button. So now I'm gonna just write like themer and background color will be now equals to var, and then primary background color. We are going to be just inheriting that color, inherit, come on, inherit, and also outline will be none, and border will be none as well, and border padding border radius will be just like 8 pixel, and position will be totally fixed, and also right, and we are going to be using like 30 pixel, and top will be also 30 pixel, and padding we are going to be using is like 8 pixel top and bottom, and left and right will have 10 pixel. So this is how it looks like, and now we are totally done with the CSS and HTML. So now finally let's jump right into a JavaScript and provide our interactivity. So the first thing I would do is I'm gonna just get my bodies, so I can either use like document.query selector and then get our body, or I can just write like document.body and it will give us a body. The next thing which we have to do is to get our themer. Now let's just write document.query selector of that themer button, which we just style in a second, and also follow buttons as well. Okay, so now let me just write document.query selector all, because we want to get all of that follow buttons. So that's that. Now the next thing which you have to do is that we want to attach event listener on this themer. So now let's just do that. So I'm gonna just use like themer.add event listener of click. So once you click on, then we want to call this function, which is toggle. So now let's just create that function. So you have function toggle and then theme, no parameter whatsoever. So now let's just check if body.class name, not class list but class name, is equal to this light theme. So then we want to print like body.class name, and it will be now equals to dark and then theme. Okay, and now let's just write our themer.inner HTML, and not HTML but inner text will be equals to just like light. Okay, so if that's not the case, you want to write our else clause and body.class name, and it will be now equals to like light theme. Okay, and now let's just use like themer.inner text, and it will be now equals to dark for now. Okay, so if you just check on that and if you click on it, so here you can see it will now give us this lighter theme, and if you click it one more time, so it will now give us this dark theme right here. Okay, so if you click it, so it will now toggle this theme right here. Okay, so that's that. Now the next thing which you have to do is that we want to work with this follow and unfollow buttons. So for that we are going to first of all iterating over through all of their buttons which we've selected right here, this follow buttons. So for that we are going to be writing our follow buttons dot add, not add event listener, but first of all let's just iterate over through it. So we've got follow buttons. So for each button we want to call this function, so we want to attach event listener of click. So once we click on that button, so then now let's just call our function. So follow, unfollow, and here we are going to be passing like e.target. So we want to check like for which button we click. So now let's just create this function like function follow unfollow function, and it will take like the parameter of button. So now let's just pass the button right here. Okay, and now inside there we are going to be just providing like class name dot toggle and followed class which we've created in CSS, which I showed you just in a second. And now let's just check our condition. If button dot inner text is equal to, let me just double check it, like follow, so then you want to write like button dot inner text, and it will be equals to like unfollow Okay, so that's the case, so it will be just print that unfollow. Otherwise, if that's not the case, you want to write a button dot inner text, and it will be now equals to follow. Okay, so follow, and we are done. So now if you just save that, and if you just get our dark theme, and if I click on this button, nothing's gonna happen because we messed it up something. Let's see if the inner text is set to follow. Let's see if the inner text is set to follow. You know what, I'm gonna paste my curly braces in there so that we can just work on it. Paste it in here as well, and just remove that like so. Save it. Now let's just check there. I don't know what's going on. Let me just open my console. Uncar button.classlist.toggle is not a function on 22. So button.followed, I guess I messed it up in here. You know what, the problem wasn't on a curly braces. So now let me just remove these curly braces one more time, and that's that. But the problem was inside a class name. Instead of class name, you want to write a class list. So now let's just save our file, and now if you just click on the unfollow, so it will now unfollow it, and if we click on a follow, so it will now follow it. Okay, so everything is working the way we expect him to work. And also let's just check it inside a dark mode as well. So we've got a theme of light, and now let's just check inside a dark mode, and now everything is working the way we expect him to work. Alright, so now we are totally done with this project. So I think that was about today's video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.